Sure.
Bel-Air Season 2, Episode 3, Compromised. Will's homeboy is talking shit after the game that they apparently won. While he's upset that Will is playing Kobe ball again, the team is one win away from states. Will promises that if need be, he'll work with the team. Any thoughts on bro going
Lying
back to?
ass.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Like, bro, I'm jacking. Doc told me to shoot. I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah, because West Philly Will is back.
You need to let that die.
I agree.
He
That
needs
shit
to
is
let
trash.
that
That shit is trash.
I'm West Philly Will now.
Okay. Cool.
More trash than I ever been.
You're in Bel-Air now. Act like it. I'm more trash than that. Lisa finally gets a word in edgewise and invites herself over to Protest Central. Do the Banks ever get a moment alone in their house? They do everything in their house. Like, relax. Enjoy your home by yourselves for one weekend.
Nah, fam. When you got a house like that, you gotta share it. At
I
least with
guess.
me, because I'm gonna show up all the time. I'm showing up every day for some reason.
Carlton admits that he tried to call off the protest, but that shit ain't happening. It seems Miss Basson will do anything to get this protest to stop, including putting Carlton's founder award on the line, which is some bitch ass shit.
Op. I knew she was a op. I knew it. And it's no surprise that it comes at some stake or some circumstance for her if it actually ends up being embarrassing for the school because she's the head of the BSU, or she's the adult in the room for the BSU, the advisor. So, yeah, I kind of read that, people will sometimes put roadblocks in your path because your path may affect theirs, especially if they're in a higher position, if they can do something to affect your future. So it's honestly a very realistic depiction of how sometimes these things get broken down. I found it interesting, though, that like a common theme throughout this episode, while they're obviously putting activism at the forefront, they do a lot to challenge how we ask or who we ask to lead these movements, right? And the level of expectation that we put towards celebrities or just leaders in general to do it all for us.
Yep.
Like, it was about 3 or 4 times this episode where I was like, well, you do it. No, you do it. Bruh, just you do it. Like, I'm like, and everybody was just making it like a thing. Like, no, it has to be you because X reason, Y reason. It was just like people using their angst or your mutual wanting of something to change to try to pressure you to be the instrument of that change.
Yeah.
Relative to whatever status or power you have. I don't think that's what makes someone a leader. But people see influence, they see money, they see power. They say, okay, you got to say it. You got to do it for people to actually listen. And it's not always how it goes.
Agreed.
So I thought it was an interesting challenge to the whole youthful progressive activism because it's not always ironclad.
Yeah. Ashley is concerned about Tatyana Ali and believes she caused it all to happen. The fam attempts to give her advice, but she doesn't believe that things will get better. The house is all setting up signs and shit for Tatyana Ali. Carlton is serious about what's going on, but Will believes this is Carlton's chance to get with Yasmin.
The teacher's name is Miss Hughes, and this
Tatyana
is another
Ali.
one of them. It's Miss Hughes, and this is another one of them instances where it's like it's something unfair that's having some undue influence over Carlton right now. Like, homegirl, I don't know how much she knows about Carlton's situation, about his anxiety, probably nothing, but she's definitely utilizing Carlton's attraction to her to get him to do what she wants in terms of how it affects the BSU.
Facts.
Which is unfair. Yeah. Even if y'all are both in agreement about wanting to fight a social norm or a policy or the administration, it's wrong of her to kind of curtail Carlton's attraction to her into him being an activist for her cause.
Unfair and wrong. So is life. That is normal, everyday shit.
Sure, it is, but at the same time, we're getting a mac or a micro look at it right now. And so it's interesting to actually break down because how much of this is actually coming from Carlton at all. He's got pressure from his baby sister because that was her favorite teacher. He's got pressure from his cousin who's trying to help him ingratiate himself with black people.
Yeah.
He got pressure coming from the girl that he likes because she's a little bit more radical than he is and is calling him to do more, and he knows that if he doesn't, he'll probably turn her off. So he's got all these external forces
Pulling them
pancaked
all in
onto
different.
an idea that he had about all of this, maybe not the ones that they had. And excuse me. And it's forcing him to make larger steps than what he's comfortable to make.
Sure. Sure. I agree. Uncle Phil pulls Will aside and lets him know that things may be happening with Carlton's anxiety due to them lowering his meds, so to keep an eye on him. Uncle Phil also lets Will know that he is not 100% about weird ass Doc, who we don't see this episode. We get a nice little break from Doc, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
good. Nope, you go.
Now I'm going on to the next scene, so go say what you were going to say.
So with the thing with Uncle Phil telling Will about Carlton, I think that maybe we have that conversation together. I think it's going to come back to bite him in the ass. Well, we already see it coming to bite at least Will at the end of this episode. But like, that's not how I would have gone about that. I don't think. Because now it's like, well, yeah, we're letting you get off your meds, but I still don't trust you, so I need a spy.
Yeah.
That's what that feels like.
Yep.
And it seems like Phil is that type of parent that's like, he tries to compensate for his children's shortcomings by like ruling over their processes or he's over controlling.
He's a helicopter dad.
He ends up offending or overstepping, trying, with good intentions, but the roadway to hell is paved with that. And so he ends up overstepping in a very harsh way. And I feel like we're headed that way for Carlton, which might be a big break for him in the season.
I mean, how do you develop? How do you bump your head and learn from it if your parents there to always keep you safe from bumping your head?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Coco Jones asks Aunt Viv about how they feel about Jazz because she doesn't feel they're keeping things 100. Viv tells her that she loves Jazz but can't speak for Uncle Phil. Yasmin wants Carlton to give a speech because the students would expect something coming from her, the president of the BSU, but Carlton comes from money, and so
yeah. See, this is that's wrong. So with the what was the first thing we were talking about? There was
Jazz and Coco Jones and
Jazz. Yeah. So we were talking about that a little bit last week about how they were going to handle it. You notice now that they've clearly defined where the awkwardness is coming from now. So it's not a mom thing. It's Uncle Phil for some reason who has the problem with Jazz. And so that's going to be a little bit easier to work over than both of them having a problem with their daughter dating a young entrepreneur who just doesn't happen to be rich at this moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that it's a little bit easily worked. I don't know if they went back and looked at that prior scene. It was like, that doesn't really work because how do we explain this?
Mm-hmm.
Now they push it off onto Uncle Phil, and they'll probably have a little mini arc between
helicopter dad,
Phil
and so
and
he
Hilary.
wants to watch over everything going on.
Yep. Makes a lot more sense than, you're dating a poor black, huh? We have better intentions for you.
Okay, so Carlton comes to the realization that because he's such a house nigga, he's the perfect person to speak.
Hey, yo, what?
Carlton is such a house nigga. Right? He's like the perfect house nigga to go ahead and speak for this situation.
Except he wouldn't make it in the house.
Okay, fair enough. Fair.
But yeah, no, it's unfair. There's so many people manipulating him in this episode, and it's really weird because no one sees it It's because it's all over the shroud of Miss Hughes and the protest that they're able to convince themselves that they're doing it for a good cause. No, chick, excuse me, president of the BCU, it would absolutely make sense and everyone would expect it, but that is your job as the president of this organization who organized this entire thing. Just because it was Carlton's idea doesn't make him the front runner or the leader. But your idea that, oh, he's the one that people typically see as the good black, so let me march you out there because you're using him in the same way the white administration, or the way you're saying the white administration uses him, as this shining example. You're just twisting it around now to fit your narrative. That's not fair.
You know what would impact more than having their token black? You giving a fire ass speech because you're the one that knows everything that's going on, not
Everything.
him.
Like, you didn't just walk into these meetings 2 weeks ago and give a couple suggestions. Like, you're the president of the organization. It should absolutely be you.
Yes.
And then Will got the same shit going on, right? Like, I don't know if it's just making himself feel better, how he's like shoveling Carlton towards this girl. Like, bro, you've already done your job. You've already done the work. Like, back off. Back off, fam. And then, what I'm sure you'll probably get to in the last part of the episode was completely self-serving. Was absolutely self-serving. Yeah. Because that whole saga, well, we'll get there. I don't want to skip ahead in the episode. But yeah, there's a lot of selfish shit going on this episode.
For sure. Speaking of more selfish shit, Lisa is talking to the tall, light-skinned nigga who originally had beef with Carlton. Ooh. Seems like he keeps getting curved, and Will seems to think he still doesn't have a chance despite no one being in the way. Oh, well, except Will's being a hating-ass, cock-blocking-ass nigga. So now he just inserts himself in the way for no good reason, because he doesn't... Isn't he with homegirl? Like, why are you...
No, he ain't with nobody.
Oh, that's facts.
He ain't with nobody. Facts. This is that annoying high schooler stuff. Oh, I didn't realize I really wanted you until you found somebody else. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's cringy to a certain degree. But again, we are talking about teenagers, and they're trying to write this as if these people are in high school. And that's absolutely what a high school basketball star would have done with his girlfriend at some point. Broke up with her for no apparent reason because he's going through some emotional stuff, and then sees her entertaining other men and is like, oh no, I really wanted her, and is doing weird stuff to try to get her back. Yeah, that's absolutely what a 16, 17-year-old boy would do.
Yep, and he can rationalize it, but it doesn't make any absolute sense at all.
It's like, oh, I love you so much, Lisa, but I just can't be with you until you go over there with that tall and light skin. Come here. Come here.
Gets his name wrong intentionally. Like, okay, all right, bro.
Like, oh, you being a real loser right now, huh? You really going for it.
All right. Aunt Viv wants Coco Jones to curate her work. Coco turns that shit down because she mad busy with Karuchi's content creator house. Coco then says Viv needs an assistant, and Aunt Viv asks Lisa to. Jeffrey pulls up and lets Aunt Viv know that Tatyana Ali showed up. Instead of being happy that a legendary child star has shown up to her front door, Aunt Viv is confused, as is Uncle Phil, according to G.
Because that shit is wild. Like, now, I was thinking in my head, I was like, so they're going to try to say that she organized her own protest for her firing. Like, it just looks weird. Like,
it looked mad weird.
Like, and uncomfortable. Like, ew.
So speaking on it, lo and behold, Tatyana Ali is in the house, and while I know her message, Tatyana Ali is in the house, and while I know her message of encouragement seems like it came from the right place, her being there just creeped me out a little bit. Like, you're the teacher, stay in school.
She should almost be kind of, no, I appreciate it, but y'all don't have to do this on my behalf. You should kind of be more worried about whether or not all these kids are going to get suspended than them fighting to get her job back, which is likely not going to be the result.
She is like, no, go ahead, do that shit. Give me my job back.
Go get him. Let's go.
Like, relax.
You about to let the dogs up.
Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv meet up about Tatyana Ali and how her case seems like a long shot. Aunt Viv seems to suggest they need to shoot for the stars. Carlton is going over the speech with Yasmin, and there seem to be a lot of smiles happening. Among complimenting each other, Yasmin and Carlton start to kiss, but Coco busts in the door in this big ass house.
Oh,
Nobody knows how to knock in this
hey,
house.
yo, fam. First of all, yeah, you're right. This is a big ass house, and you're walking in my door right now, right now.
And kicking in the door at that, like she fucking
I was
bust
like,
in
on
like the
top of
Kool-Aid
that, my
man.
door is hella closed, fam. It's the middle of the day, and my door is closed. Please don't just be walking in your teenage brother's room when his door is closed.
Facts.
Please stop. Don't do that ever again.
Yo, you could have
For
walked in
your
on
sake.
something way worse.
Wow. Wow.
Just
A
saying.
whole session. Please do not ever walk into the teenage boy's room when the
Yo,
door is completely shut.
she tripping. I'm surprised this house doesn't have locks and that they would allow them to. I just feel like the Banks family is okay with them having locks on their door. Just throwing
I
it out
mean,
there.
I don't think they was doing anything initially that would have required him to lock the door, and that shit looks hella weird if you just start off the situation locking the door.
For sure. For sure.
Like, that's just
It's a little
hella
nuts.
weird.
That's a little nuts.
So I can understand the door being unlocked. I can't understand Hilary busting into this man's room like that. Like,
Nah. She kicked in the door, waving the 4-4. Anyway, Uncle Phil wants the kids to plan out something specific before they march, but the kids seem to think they should at least still protest to raise awareness. Yasmin, by looking at him and smiling at him, puts the battery in Carlton's back to stand up for the protest.
yeah, what you doing? I agree. Okay. Yo, Carlton, you about to malfunction, fam. Stop. Stop.
For sure. Apparently, the middle school sent an email that says they can't protest, so Carlton and Will promise that they will hold it down for Ashley. Coco Jones is giving someone a tour of the house, and Bel-Air decided to use this as a perfect chance for product placement. Don't insult me, Bel-Air. Simply Spike Peach does not need your product placement. Relax.
Hey, I thought that was pretty dope. That they got Simply Spike to actually get a product in the show.
Sure, but Jesus Christ. I wish I had a counter for how many times I heard Simply Spike Peach.
Simply Spiked. Like, they kept saying it like, Simply Spiked. You know, any normal black person is going to call that joint Simply.
Yes.
Or Simply Peach. They're not going to be saying Simply Spiked. But Simply Spiked. But Simply Spiked. It was like, you.
They put the actor voice on for Simply Spike.
They gave them a quota. You need to say Simply Spiked in this episode 42 times.
Facts. Now I know. Simply Spiked. I'm going to go get some afterwards. Like,
yeah,
relax.
I'm about to go get some Simply Spiked. It's in my brain.
All right. Nathan Moore says Ashley was hella problematic. Yeah, a little bit.
Who was?
Ashley. I wouldn't say not necessarily in this episode, but I just think
she's problematic. Ashley, the little girl?
You know what? She didn't really do shit. She just got the books. So yeah, no, the Karen was problematic.
She do?
The Karen was fucking problematic.
Like, what did she do?
She
got a
accepted. She accepted
a
a book.
birthday party. She's still like she's plot dressing. You know what I mean? So like they don't give Ashley a whole bunch to do. It ain't really nothing important going on with Ashley. I guess they're trying a little bit more now, but like, what opportunity did she have to be?
He meant Hilary.
Oh yeah, no, Hilary was tripping. Yeah, she was bugging. She was tripping.
She was tripping when she kicked in the door.
She giving Karuchi way too much leeway, way too much benefit of the doubt. She over here selling this boof ass drink, and it's like, fam. First of all, I brought you into this situation with this house. You wouldn't have known nothing about it. Wouldn't have been no opportunity for you, and you trying to sell this old snake elixir, this snake oil drink that ain't nobody buying. Like, what you got going on?
We'll talk about that in a second. The high school is being told that they will be suspended from school and extracurriculars if they go through with the protest. Everyone seems down
Hey,
at first.
what did you say? Wait. What'd you say? They'll be suspended from what?
School
School and what?
and extracurriculars.
Extracurriculars like what? What does that consist of?
Sports like basketball. I feel like one of
Damn.
them said lacrosse.
Well, no, we need to go
Debate
no further
team.
than that. What does Will play?
Basketball.
Does it make okay? So I wanted to lay that out for what is to come in the coming events.
Fair enough. Everyone seems down at first, but Will and the basketball team are still with them, along with a few other sports teams. Carlton is now faced with a real dilemma. Everyone in the BSU seems unsettled about the suspension, but Will states that they are just trying to divide everyone and that they would not suspend every black student there. Carlton uses that to leverage a conversation with a small delegation, being 2 people, of students instead of the protesting. And so we'll talk about that in just a second.
So Paul's right here. There's a point where they Will's right? Like we got too many numbers for them to just say we're gonna suspend anybody. So that gives us leverage to negotiate something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So your black ass don't have to go out here and get suspended to make a point. Will. Right? He doesn't like it. Why? Because that's not enough attention. That's not West Philly Will. West Philly will fight the law. West Philly will fight the power. We don't concede shit. We ain't concede nothing, sucker. West Philly will. You feel me?
No.
It's about the attention. It's about the vibrato. It's not about the activism. I didn't like some of the stuff, but I liked how they addressed activism in this episode because it was a very balanced view if you were paying attention. They showed some of the more genuine and needed parts of activism dealing with Miss Hughes. But then they also show how a lot of this stuff with young folks, like I'll count myself a part of it to a certain degree, because I mean I was there. But have this idea of what it means. Right? So like if you went into this saying that the curriculum's fucked, the rules that the teachers have are fucked, and we're not adequately represented in the literature that we learn here at school. And then they acquiesce, I guess, all 3 of those things to you for the better, and it's still not enough because we didn't get to go out in front of cameras and chant and yell and scream and embarrass the school. So what was actually the purpose? Was it to do all that to the school, or was it to get what you wanted?
Fair enough.
What are we out to do? Are we out to just make waves to get people to pay attention to us? Or are we working towards a goal? Are we trying to get something done? Are we trying to get something for what it is that we're sacrificing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Karrueche has a photo shoot with her weak-ass, wheatgrass alcoholic drink. Coco pulls up to talk about the deal she's trying to strike with Simply Spiked. But Karrueche ain't listening. Karrueche puts a pin in their conversation and says they'll talk later.
You know what? The first time she pulled up, I actually wasn't mad at her. It's like you are literally pulling up in the middle of my photo shoot, asking me why I can't pay attention to you. Like, literally, there's a lot going on, so this probably ain't the best way to do it.
For sure.
Now, leaving me waiting for you for an hour after that?
Yeah, no, fuck what you talking about.
That's dead. That's dead. Especially because they offered me the deal without you.
Yeah. Yep.
They offered me this deal without you. So if you're going to be stank, yeah, your little Simply Spike deal or whatever, you going to do that to me? Cool. Kick rocks. Go sell garbage grass juice to whoever's going to buy it.
Facts. Jeffrey is now attempting to play Hitman Hacker on Uncle Phil's computer. What is this nigga up to?
Hey, yo, I have no idea what the fuck he owned. I don't know what he owned. I have no clue. I don't know what that's about.
Talk about problematic.
The one thing that I thought about, though, while he was doing that was maybe Phil has information on his son that he doesn't want to give Jeffrey.
That's the only thing I can see.
You know, or he's a sleeper cell agent for somebody else he done picked up while he was out on his hiatus. Like, he working for Fred. He working for Shiny Head Fred, Tony Rob.
Oh, God.
He working for Shiny Head Fred.
God damn it.
He turned double agent.
I actually thought that for 1 second. I'm like, no, that can't be it. That can't be it.
You done turned double agent for shiny head Fred, Tony Robb.
Nah. Uncle Phil gives Jeffrey a gift of cigars due to his fresh start. He then explains that he needs Jeffrey to go check on Jimmy Lewis from the firm because he don't trust that nigga. Wrong
Yeah.
nigga. Wrong nigga to not
I was
trust.
wondering when that was gonna come back up because he was acting weird when Phil came back to the office. He's like, yeah, buddy, yeah, no, we'd love to have you back. We didn't expect you to be here, but it's cool. We'll work around it. It's great.
The call is coming from inside the house. Wrong nigga not to trust right now. I'm just saying. The principal has the... Oh, go ahead. What's up?
No, good.
The principal has the convo with Yasmin, Carlton, and Miss Bazin. Carlton playing both sides a little bit, but he comes into the BSU and explains that the walkout can happen without anyone without anyone getting suspended. The school has reviewed the curriculum and they will institute a review board with student members. It seems he started with all the good shit and Yasmin makes him tell all the rest, which the walkout can't include any signs, chants, or speeches. Not that bad of a deal, but what the hell is a protest without any of those things?
Fam, listen to me. The one thing that I learned from doing this shit right here, Iota Phi Theta pledging, learn to think. Learn to think. If you know, you know. Learn to think. They said you can't have any signs and you can't make any speeches. Okay? So what stops us from getting in, right in the middle of the quad as a whole and standing there with our fist up? What stops you from, they said no speeches. They didn't say you couldn't sing. They didn't say you couldn't talk. You know what I mean? Like, learn to think. Do something clever. Don't rage against the concession, especially when you are willing to concede nothing. It was all good when you heard you got the review board, when they were going to review the rule, they got the teacher fired. It was all good when you got those things.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, it doesn't work at all, and it's totally a betrayal because y'all can't chant and scream. And then to double back to the conversation that was happening with the principal and that advisor, look at the situation that Carlton was put in. I have this girl who has this unrealistic expectation of me, like I'm the new Malcolm X that I like, that's sitting right here next to me as I'm speaking.
Facts.
I have the principal of the school. I have the black advisor of the BSU that I know is not on our side because she's vying for a new position and she's standing right there. Mm-hmm. And I'm supposed to negotiate something on the behalf of the black students without also damaging my educational future.
Yeah.
Off of this one issue. So I guess they just expected Carlton to go out there and be Braveheart and literally just die.
Yeah.
But is that not what we expect from people sometimes?
Yes.
Do we not expect people to fall on the sword and forget about the money and forget about their livelihood, forget about how they pay their bills, and just stand up?
Sometimes even unreasonably.
You do it. Not me. I'm not going to follow you, but maybe you doing it will inspire more people. Not me, but other folks.
Right. Right.
It's an unrealistic expectation, and it all kind of keeps with this theme of what is real activism is what I got from this episode.
Gotcha. Will is upset. My phone just decided to... I don't know what it just did. Anyway, Will is upset because he states that if the authority is okay with what you're doing, then what you're doing is wrong. Yasmin agrees, and Carlton freaks out because
That's so simple, though. That's so simple. That's a very easy way to define progress for a person who ain't never progressed anything. It's very easy to say that, like, oh, if they liked you, then I mean, we can apply that to a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. It's not completely wrong. It's just it's a weird take to have because what did you expect to happen? Did you expect to get the teacher back, get the rule change, update the curriculum, and then still be able to walk out there and rant and rave and scream?
Yeah, bro.
Is that what you legitimately thought was going to happen? Because that's not a realistic. That's not even good being a good leader.
Yeah.
Because you are setting people on an unrealistic thought path, on a track that's going to lead them to, if we don't get every last thing that we asking for, it was an abject failure.
Yeah.
Which is, if that's how you judge activism, you're going to find yourself calling a lot of things you do failures.
That's a fact. Okay. So Yasmin agrees with Will, and Carlton freaks out because they have a plan in place. Yasmin says they need to make it seem like they'll do the protest the school's way, but then not. Karuchi is an hour late to meet with Coco Jones, and this bitch still talking about her trash-ass drink as opposed to Simply Spiked. Karuchi thinks
I was so glad that Hilary just straight up told her, like, bro, nobody knows about your drink, fam. Nobody's drinking that
your drink is not comp to Simply. Shut up.
Second of all, Karuchi got legs like Victor Cruz. They used to work out in the gym with each other. She looked like she can go hit a 40-yard dash right now.
What is her 40 time?
Sub 4.4 for sure.
You think so?
For sure. She's moving. Did you see her calves?
I did. Sub 4.4 though? Not a 4.4 flat?
For sure.
Okay.
Victor Cruz got her right.
The clock hits 11 and Carlton walks out, but not before leaving his jacket in class for whatever reason. Carlton then leads everybody out.
Hey, I thought that was the start of something. I thought that was going to be the silent protest, like we all going to take our jackets off and leave them in the school or whatever, and maybe we do something.
Nobody else did that shit.
Like,
he just left his jacket there for whatever reason. Carlton then leads everybody out. Carlton then tells everyone to take pics and videos, and then he goes live with this boring-ass speech, kind of. Drew hates on Bro's current plan, but it seems that the school already trashing banners. The people want Carlton to make a speech on top of a table, and Bro starts having a panic attack.
Because he wasn't built for all of this. And on top of that, he doesn't believe in a lot of how they're going about it.
Sure. And then on top of that, he's losing an opportunity.
He knows that, I think in his heart of hearts, he knows that some of this is going beyond what it is they were trying to do, but Will is making him exponentially more popular at his own school. Old girl seems to be his new love interest, so he will do anything for her.
Yeah.
And so it's like it led him in this dangerous place. Now, the interesting thing, so he tells Will, "Don't you dare tell my dad," which already tells me that he knew exactly. He might as well say the shit right in front of Carlton. That's why I brought it up earlier on in the discussion, because Carlton knew. He knew. He didn't just know that somebody was watching him. He knew exactly who they would ask. Right? Yep. So that is another layer of anxiety, because if he messes up anything in this public sphere of him, leading this protest, his parents are surely to find out about it and attribute that to him lowering down his meds.
Yeah, for sure. As things seem to be winding down, Will takes off with the banner that they took down, and the principal sees him. That's when Will he goes to the roof and unrolls the huge Black Teachers Matter sign and throws up a fist, then leaves everyone in a chant, stealing all of Carlton's potential thunder.
So remember, I asked you what it is that Will stands to lose from all of this, right? We were talking about being suspended from extracurriculars.
Mm-hmm.
Will pushed old girl and Carlton to go further than what was agreed upon in the meeting. Will, when Carlton is having the panic attack, instead of getting Carlton the fuck out of there so he can calm down, runs to the roof, drops the banner, which almost assures his suspension, and ultimately does nothing for the protest. What did he do?
It made everyone chant.
You got a viral moment, bro. You right. All that shit that they just agreed to in the office is null and void, and you're suspended, and you can't play basketball.
He did it for the cause, bro.
No, he didn't. He did it for himself. He's West Philly Phil. West Philly Will. West Philly Will does things the way that he feels are right, and no one else can take him off of that. West Philly Will says, if the protest is okay with the administration, it ain't far enough. We gotta piss them off. Force them to suspend me. Suspend me? Throw away the key. I ain't afraid to stay in this big mansion that my uncle owns for 5 days. Right? It's easy for Will to take these swings. One, because he cares as much about the cause as he cares about himself. Number one, it's not all about what it is they're fighting for.
Sure.
And then number two, he has this attitude that any acquiescence to someone else in their guidance right now is like he's allergic to it. Can't listen to his teammates, can't listen to his uncle, can't listen to Carlton. Anytime someone tries to give him advice this season, he runs from it like it's the plague. It does the exact opposite.
That would make sense because A, everyone tells him that he does so well because he does well at sports and all that shit. B, he never gets held accountable for anything like this. So what?
No, fam.
If he does get held accountable, it's for an episode.
Yeah, look at the people who have tried to talk Will off of his bullshit all season. Jazz, Lisa, Carlton,
Jeffrey.
I just went through some. Who?
Jeffrey.
Shit. His teammate.
His
Carlton
team.
Again with the protest.
The coach.
Look how many people. What person other than Uncle Phil? And that was more of a reconciliation than it was giving advice.
Sure.
Right? Because he's trying to tell him about Doc. Like, I don't know. We'll see what's going on. And he ain't trying to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who has he acquiesced to? Who has he listened to? Whose counsel has he taken as bond?
Doc.
Yet. Not a friend, not a family member, not an elder. No one. Except for Doc.
And
that's
Jackie.
the nigga that he's seeking out.
And
that's
Jackie.
someone that he's seeking out. Not someone who sought him out to give counsel and to bring him forward. But somebody that you sought after. Is the only person in your life you'll listen to?
Again, he only listens to people when they're bigging him up. And when they're not, fuck him.
Cause he West Philly Will.
He listened to the
West Philly
team.
Will don't care.
He listened to the team at the beginning of the episode when they were like, "Oh yeah, we're 1 win away from states, but look, man, start playing like a team." And he just, yeah, I'll start playing like a team, whatever.
Yeah,
the boy is wilding.
Yeah.
If anybody is problematic, it's him, not Coco Jones. Coco Jones is just trying to tell Karuchi, look, your drink is trash. I'm trying to get us some real money in here.
Hey, but like, I don't even think I would have made it to the second conversation with her. I was hitting you up about it. You wasn't responding. I came down here. You too busy. Okay, cool. This one might just be for me. This one just might be for me. You know what I'm saying? You got wheatgrass disaster. I have Simply Spiked. So, let's just...
You have to say it like the actors. I have Simply Spiked.
Spiked. I have Simply Spiked. You have Green Boo Boo. Nobody wants that.
Facts. Nathan Moore says...
Oh, notice, did she ever try to cut Hilary in on that?
No. What?
Besides just bringing a standee to her little sister's birthday party, did she ever try to cut Hilary in?
No.
Hilary tried to bring her in on the Simply Spike thing, right? You didn't want it because you got your own thing. You've never tried to get me involved in that. So this should be fine then, right? Should be cool.
I don't know, man. We'll see. Nathan Moore said his mama hasn't called these last few episodes, which is a fact.
Well, yeah, she hasn't, which is weird. They usually talk all the time, right? I wonder if there's something going on with that. Maybe mama got a little, you know what I'm saying? She done found her a little round the way gentleman to take her out on Friday nights. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, she getting her groove back.
Well, you remember what happened in the actual show with his mom and the boyfriend?
Yeah.
That was a whole arc, right? Mm-hmm. So that's hey.
What if they retcon it to make it? Because if you remember, her sister was the one that ended up dating a white guy.
I think that's what they're going to do, honestly. I think that's where they're going. Because they haven't really brought all the sisters into it yet, right? I haven't seen all the sisters yet.
And I don't think they will.
Huh?
I don't think they will. It's a lot to bring
Well,
in.
even if they do, let's say that they do have the other two sisters show up, they're not going to have enough space and or time to expand on their background. We already know Vi. We know who she is. So it's not going to be that much of a stretch for her to pop up with a white guy, and then we only have to stick in that dynamic to explain it.
Yeah.
With the other ones, we want to have to explain who they are, what they do, where they come from. It's not going to be as big of a shock with
Yeah.
one of them being with a white guy.
Yeah.
So I do think they'll make it Vi, and that'll be probably post whatever's going on with this Doc arc. I think.
You know what I was gonna say? Who should play a sister? Would
Ooh.
be who played Hilary in the original one.
Oh yeah.
But then I'm like, man, Viv is like dark, and fucking Vi is not so dark. And then you've got
I mean,
old Hilary.
black
And
people pop out all different type of colors.
that's a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact.
It ain't that big of a hole.
For sure. Any other thoughts on
I mean,
that?
even Vivian and Viola are two completely different
Yeah.
skin tones. So it's not out of the realm of possibility they got another light skinned sister sitting around somewhere.
Nuts. All right.